introduction. Yes, hello, my name is Louise, and my topic today is LGBTQI and mental health. I just want to make a disclaimer here. In no means am I a mental health expert. I may be a little bit mental, but I'm not an expert. I do have lived experience being a gay woman, and also being surrounded by these incredible human beings who are queer, and helping them to assimilate into Australian culture. Yes, so I have, sorry. So this saying diversity is being invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance really resonated with me, particularly for the queer community. I mean, we work amongst a very diverse culture in international education where students come from all around the world. And it's an amazing experience, not only for them, but also for us to learn so much for them. The second part, inclusion is being asked to dance. So for the queer community, how do we make sure that they are fully accepted and included within the international education system? The basis of this presentation will be to give you some facts about mental health, and then give you some takeaway points which you could use at your institution. My presentation is quite, I hope it's not too distracting because it's quite colourful and there's a lot going on at some stages. So now here we go, and next. Research and real-life experiences have found that LGBTQI folks have increased risks of depression, anxiety, substance abuse, self-harming, and suicide thoughts when compared with heterosexual folks. Same-sex attracted and transgender people have higher psychological distress and significant levels of anxiety. Could you hear all that? Great. Yeah, it's actually quite a scary fact that, you know, LGBT folk have higher levels of stress, anxiety, and mental health issues. Just some facts here that I got up. So in Australia, almost half of people who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual are currently experiencing an anxiety condition, 2.5 times the rate of heterosexual people. 3 in 10 people who identify as LGBT, lesbian, gay, or bisexual are currently experiencing depression, 4 times the rate of heterosexual people in Australia. There's also evidence that people who identify as transgender and people with intersex variations have some of the highest levels of psychological distress. And then being mindful that 72 countries, in 72 countries, same-sex relations are illegal. And in 8 countries, it is still punishable by death.
Moving and studying abroad, you never know how people will react to your particular sexual orientation or gender identity. And that's why a group like Rainbow Hub is so important. It puts to rest our concerns and gifts us with the opportunity of meeting like-minded souls, making friends, and turning this daunting experience into something lighter and more enjoyable.
Just a side note, I was very lucky to receive funding from Study Queensland about 5-6 years ago for an initiative I set up called Rainbow Hub, which is for international LGBTQI students, to create that safe and welcoming space for them. And I'm still lucky enough to be able to run it through ILSC, which I'm very grateful for. But the people that are speaking here, for example, Will, he is actually part of the Rainbow Hub, who I've met and have become friends with now. Just looking at some facts with regards to enrollments. So I'm sure they're much higher now, but in 2022, we had around 700,000 students, or just over 700,000 students. In our the sector I work in, ELICOS, that's 74,000 students. There is some statistics that say approximately 10% of the population are LGBTQI. So when you do the math, if we can, we're all English teachers, that's a lot of LGBTQI students that come into our country.
Some colleagues are puzzled, even perturbed, by the idea that lesbian and gay identities could have any relevance to language learning. To them, gay-friendly teaching is at best of marginal importance, of interest only to a small minority of learners and teachers, gay ones, and at worst invasive, inserting a discourse of homosex into a field in which that discourse is neither relevant nor appropriate. Nelson, 1997.
Even though this is from 1997, I still think it is very relevant today. Even compared with when I was going to school, which was a long time ago, there are a lot more representation and awareness in the media as well. But still, I believe in our classroom, it's still not being, there's still not enough inclusiveness. Sometimes people are just scared, they're going to say the wrong thing, or they just don't feel comfortable. These are some questions that I've had thrown at me in the last sort of month, whether it be at school, in the workplace, or from my friends. So why do you have a Pride Month? Aren't you scared to be that out? Why does there have to be rainbow flags everywhere? Why does my line manager have their pronouns in their signature? They're not even gay. So these are some questions. Alison, that's not you, by the way. That was a friend of mine. So all these questions, get you thinking in what we can do. And here's myself talking. An inclusive environment for any international student is imperative for any educational space. However, the curriculum space is still very heteronormative, prevailing in discourse and policies of most schools, with little or no representation in our curriculum or course books. It seems to follow passionate individuals to provide classes that are inclusive and diverse. Simple ways to start promoting inclusivity in your classroom is to actually think about your own values and approach to gender, sexuality, and race. Are your students treated as individuals, encouraged to share their own lives and interests? In racially diverse classrooms, have you thought about your own conscious or unconscious biases about people from other cultures? Do you have a different expectations of students of color than you do of white, male or female students, or students of the LGBTQI community? Another easy thing to do is put up safe space posters. Throughout my dealings in Rainbow Hub, I've always asked the students, the LGBTQI students, how can we be more supportive of you and
they always say a little rainbow, you know, it just shows that it's a safe space and we are welcomed there. And it's so great to see, like the University of Adelaide that Sandra showed us before has so many, which is great. And even at ILSC, when I first started there, there's a massive rainbow wall, which is, it's just amazing. It just makes you feel at ease, even for myself as well. Another thing is the trans and gender diverse community. Using a bathroom that they feel comfortable with is also important to acknowledge for them, because it is so hard for them nowadays as well, with all the issues that are coming up. Queer ally. Allies are so important in our community. And I mean, who wouldn't want to be a friend of the LGBTQI community? I mean, we just have so much charm, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. An easy way to do this is also wear rainbow lanyards. Seem to be very popular nowadays, and it just shows that you are accepting of the community. I have a story of a lady that is from Iran, who I befriended through Rainbow Hub. And I remember walking down the Queen Street Mall in Brisbane, and she was just so excited to see a worker wearing the rainbow lanyard. She was like, look at that, they accept us. And just something simple like that, you know, for her meant a lot from a country where it's punishable by death.
Lowering affective filters within the classroom constantly produce higher student engagement, productivity, and performance, all of which lead to better language production. Gresham, 1986. Students of diverse sexual orientation, gender identity, or intersex variations make a significant contribution to the international field.
Yeah, just going back to one of our teaching methodologies of affective filters, and I know that a lot of us, you know, make the classroom a safe space for them. And when we do that, when we make them feel comfortable, of course, it's going to produce higher student engagement and productivity. And the same goes for any LGBTQI student. If they feel safe and respected, they're going to produce higher and better language production. Even down to, you know, simple things like the inclusive language. You know, we may be doing a get to warm you activity and use the language, you see a female student, you say, do you have a boyfriend? If the person is gay, they're not going to feel comfortable answering that. Here we go, inclusive language. So to be able to do this in the classroom, refer to the person as they instead of he or she. Ensure your company's designs or images reflect a diverse group of people. Be mindful of terms related to race, nationality, culture. When speaking to colleagues about family, use gender neutral labels for family members. Having two daughters, it's really important to do this. My daughters at school, when it's Mother's Day, they have to make two sets of presents for their mums, and it's great that, you know, the school accepts that. This is a question I get asked a lot as well. I have a person in my class and I'm not sure what gender they are. The best thing, that I can suggest is ask the individual which pronouns they would prefer. Take them aside and ask them. But also make it clear they don't have to identify as well. It's them. It's all about creating that safe space. One last thing as well that I thought about over the last week was creating a safe space for the workplace, for your workers. I've never really thought about that before still until stepping into ILSC, and I was just amazed at a couple of teachers in particular, how comfortable they are with their sexuality and how that transcends into the classroom. And when that transcends into the classroom, anyone who identifies feels comfortable as well. And I thought, wow, that is something I've never thought about. But, you know, to have a supportive workplace, it's very, very important. I did a bit of research about, and this is from the Queensland government. So increased visibility and awareness about LGBTQI inclusion, creating workplace cultures where employees feel valued and supported to bring their whole selves to work every day. So visibly demonstrate that LGBTQI people are recognized and accepted in the workplace by encouraging all employees to visibly show support for LGBTQI through email signature blocks, wearing rainbow lanyards or laces or badges, displaying posters and resources, and actively communicating to employees that homophobia and transphobia are unacceptable in the workplace and have a negative effect. Celebrating LGBTQI awareness days, so Ida Hobbit Day, Wear It Purple Day, which is coming up, Transgender Day of Visibility, and Intersex Awareness Day, and also Pride Month, which we've just had. I think all these are really, really important within the workplace for employees to be their true selves. So ask yourself, within your institution, do you celebrate Ida Hobbit? Do you celebrate Pride? Do you celebrate National Coming Out Day? Is there visibility within your workplace? Do you have posters at your institution? Do you have access to LGBTQI issues that you can bring to the classroom? Do you have any leaflets about LGBTQI groups? Is it easy accessible? Is there any support for learners, resources integrated into the classroom? This is the final thing that I saw the other day there. I'm not sure. Do we, how much time do we have left? Not much.
Yeah, we're just about up now, Louise.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. I was going to show, there's a great video on Britain's Got Talent this year, episode 7. And it's about a group of diverse individuals, and how it's still very, very hard, even for like a gay couple to walk down the street to show affection. And we're living, you know, they're living in Britain. And still people get bashed up for being LGBTQI. And this, from that video, is a sentence that really resonated with me. So it's not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, embrace, and celebrate those differences. Thank you very much for your time today. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Louise. Fantastic. And I think somebody said there they've seen that video and it got the golden buzzer. So there we go.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we did have one question there in the chat we can ask quickly. We are just about done on time, but maybe if you could answer this question, what's the one best thing maybe you think a teacher can do to demonstrate LGBTQIA plus inclusiveness in the classroom? So one thing that a teacher might be able to do.
I just reckon, like, you know, what they could do is, you know, celebrate some of the events that come up. I mean, we have a whole month of Pride, and there's some amazing events around the city. you know, show the history of the LGBTQI community, and just start talking using inclusive language. There's so much.
Fantastic. Okay.